In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
Good morning. So yesterday we saw how the angels at the tomb, when the women went to anoint Jesus's body, told the ladies that Jesus had risen indeed, just like he said he would. And the angels said to the women, "Run and tell the disciples." Well, they didn't do it because they were afraid. But Mary Magdalene, she wasn't afraid. Why would she be afraid? She had been horribly demonized. She was miserable because the demons were having their way with her, and Jesus completely set her free. Other gospels say that Mary talked with Jesus directly. And so she ran and did tell the disciples, and they said, "Even though you've seen him, we don't believe you." Well, that's where we pick up the story today. We're in Mark chapter 16, and I'm going to read verses 12 and 13, but then I'm going to go to Luke because that's where the story is that's being referred to. So Mark 16:12 says, after that, Jesus appeared in a different form to two of them while they were walking along on the way to the country. And then they went away and reported to the others, to the disciples, but they did not believe them either. Well, we have people that have seen Jesus telling the disciples, and the disciples don't believe him. Well, that road to Emmaus story, it's in Luke chapter 24. And I'm going to read starting in verse 13. Behold, two of them were going that very day to the village named Emmaus, which was about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they were talking with each other about all these things which had taken place, talking about the crucifixion. And while they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself approached and began traveling with them, but their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. So here's Jesus walking with these two guys, and they don't even know that it's Jesus. Jesus said to them, "What are these words that you are exchanging with one another as you are walking?" And they stood still, looking sad. One of them, named Cleopas, answered and said to him, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem? The only one that is unaware of the things which have happened here in the last few days?" And Jesus said to them, "What things?" And they said to him, "The things about Jesus, the Nazarene, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word in the sight of God and in the people, and how the chief priests and the rulers delivered him to be sentenced to death and crucified. But we were hoping that it was him who was going to redeem Israel. Indeed, besides all this, it is the third day since these things happened." And we know that Jesus said he was going to be raised on the third day. Well, beginning with Moses and with all the prophets, Jesus explained to them the things concerning himself in the scriptures. All right, that's one of the reasons this is one of my favorite stories. I'm going to come back to that. And they approached the village where they were going, and he acted as though he were going further, but they urged him, saying, "No, stay with us, for it is getting toward evening, and the day is now nearly over." And so he went in to stay with them. Well, when he had reclined at the table with them, he took the bread and he blessed it, and he broke the bread and began giving it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. Now, here's the second reason why I'm so excited about this story. They said to one another, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was speaking to us on the road, while he was explaining the scriptures to us?" And then, just like in Mark, they got up that very hour and returned to Jerusalem and found gathered there together the 11 and those who were with them. And they said, "The Lord really is risen indeed." Well, I love this story for two big reasons. Number one, Jesus explained to them where he was in the scriptures. Okay, the New Testament hasn't been written yet. He's talking about the Old Testament scriptures. Oh, so many people read the Old Testament and they're determined to see law, and they do see law. But we're supposed to read even the Old Testament and see Jesus. If you really rightly divide the word, if you really understand what it says, you're going to see Jesus in the Old Testament and the New Testament. And here's what will happen. This is the second reason I love this story. Didn't our hearts burn when we saw the truth of the scriptures, that Jesus is the middle of everything that's going on? Well, the disciples and those who were with them didn't believe it. They didn't believe Mary, and they didn't believe these guys who ran to tell them the truth as they had seen Jesus on the road to Emmaus. When we get together tomorrow, we're going to see how Jesus responded to these guys that were not willing to believe. Well, God bless you who hears Jesus' voice. And just like me, you love hearing him talk to you. You love the things that he has to say because it's all about the love of God and how amazing we are as his children. Well, I look forward to being with you tomorrow. Come be with us. I'll see you then.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus.